Hi, this is Pete, and we're going to talk about shoes, and we're going to talk about orthotics. A lot of people that come in and see me, they have the orthotics in an attempt to try to get them out of pain. And guess what? Many instances it will work temporarily. Unfortunately, it's a one-step forward and a three-step backwards scenario. And here's what I mean by that. The real issue with the need to have an orthotic device is to try to change the position of the body with the orthotic. Well, that's kind of wagging that tail instead of having the dog wag it. It's the cart before the horse scenario. What we actually need to do is we need to change the position of the body so that the pronation and supination changes. Watch. The pronation, you're on the inside of the feet, or maybe you have flat feet, the foot's caving in, is really caused from the position of the hip joint. Watch. I moved my feet in, I moved my feet to the outside. It's all coming from right here. It's the pelvic position. Watch. I move the pelvic forward, backwards. It's going to change the foot position. Why would I put something in the bottom of my shoe or in my foot to change the bone position in my hip? Why don't I just change the bone position in my hip? Why don't I use the interaxial muscles in the pelvic girdle? Why don't you just come in and see me? We'll do some very simple stretches, exercises, and static positions that will literally change the pelvic position, change the pronation or supination of the foot, cause the vertical load to be proper, not putting too much pressure on that foot and caving that foot in and giving you those flat feet, okay? Flat feet, 100% correctable. No one's ever told you that before. But when you come in and work with me for an hour, you're going to find out, you're going to walk out, you're not going to have the flat feet. Unbelievable, isn't it? Come in, make me prove it, and that's exactly what we'll do. So you're going to take your orthotics and you're going to throw them out of the window. Make sure you don't hit anybody, okay? You're going to get rid of those orthotics. We don't need a Band-Aid in the body. We need the body to do what it was designed to do. And so that's exactly what we're going to accomplish together. Real simple. Now, let's also talk about shoes for just a second. The shoes today are just outlandish. It's a battle to see who can make the bigger shoe. The more padding, the more air, the more gel, the springs, they're putting everything in these shoes, and guess what? It's actually causing more problems. And I'm going to prove it to you right now, right here. Okay, watch. I'm going to take this shoe. Sorry, Nike, but this shoe's no good. And here's why it's no good. See all this air down here and this raised heel up here? Well, we want to say, oh, well, that's going to protect my foot. I'm going to get more padding. I need all that, okay? Well, let's take a look here. I'm going to take this little pad here, which is about as high as that gel or air or whatever they have in the heel here. And I'm going to put that pad here on the floor, and I'm going to stand on it with my heels. Now, I want you to see something. See how forward my body is now? See the angle of my legs? See, I'm here. My legs are straight. I wear very low shoes, by the way, in case you hadn't noticed. These are actually running shoes that I wear for tennis, but we'll talk more about that. So now I go up, and I'm in the Nike Airs. Look at the angle of my legs. Well, I've just shortened my Achilles tendon, my calf. I'm using the muscles on the front of my body now differently than the muscles on the back of my body. Do you think that that's causing an imbalance and biomechanically I'm improperly using my body? Look, I'm leaning forward too. The answer is absolutely yes. The answer is yes, you're using your body improperly when you wear these horribly designed shoes. And I'm not talking about just this one. Any shoe company, any brand, anyone that's involved in the war of more padding, more gel, more air, more this, more that, more junk between the bottom of my foot and the ground, the more problems I'm going to have. When I was a kid, we were wearing Converse All-Stars. The women were wearing the Keds. No one had ankle and foot injuries, but today, 12-year-olds have them. Why is that? It's the shoes. The more between the shoe and the more between the foot and the ground, in other words, so much shoe, the foot can't even feel the ground anymore. So there's a disconnect between the brain and the bottom of the foot. So you're not going to perform better, you're going to perform worse. You're not actually preventing shock in the body, you're actually adding to it. And here's what I mean by that. This is kind of a long little video, but we just have to roll with this. The more I put between the bottom of my foot and the ground.
Can you say the more I check the camera?
What's that? Okay.
The more I
Okay.
check the camera.
There is a neurological connection between the brain and the bottom of our feet. Would you agree with that? Yes, of course. And the more I put between the bottom of my foot and the ground, the more we're going to break that neurological connection. So as I step out and I step down and I transfer weight onto that foot, the brain has to get a signal that there's enough pressure on the foot, now it's time to lift off. And so if there's a bunch of padding between my foot and the ground, my brain's actually getting that signal late. And if it's getting late, I'm putting more pressure on my skeletal structure, not less. So I'm stepping down, the brain hasn't gotten the signal, it finally gets the signal, now I step off as I'm walking or running. The skeletal structure is getting slammed. The foot feels good because it's all cushiony, like, oh, wow, this feels great. I'm all cushiony. But the truth of the matter is that cushiony feeling is fool's gold, because what really is happening is you're slamming the skeletal structure, okay? So the rule of thumb is the less shoe, the better. The less shoe, the better. The less between the bottom of your foot and the ground, the better. The more padding you put, the more slamming of the skeletal structure. What's the proof? The proof is, look at all the injuries today compared to 1965. Okay? We're being sold down the river by the shoe companies, and we're the ones that are causing it because we're going out and buying these shoes. Okay? So, in a nutshell, the less shoes, the better. You're going to come in and see me. We're going to get rid of the orthotics. We're going to change the pronation, supination of the foot, the way everything tracks. You're not going to need any of that stuff. And we're just going to restore the body, okay? So thanks for visiting, and we'll see you soon.